I'm David Volk, a voice of the resistant, albeit a strange and funny one with perhaps a bit of a cold. Today's post, we go in the way back machine for how to embarrass your children for fun and profit. How it is to grin and bear it. As many smart parents know, embarrassment can be a powerful tool for good or evil. It's up for us to decide how to use it. My family is a perfect example. Since I'm middle-aged and not all that proud anymore, it's not so easy to embarrass me. Don't get me wrong, I take pride in a lot of things. My family, my sense of humor, my ability to roll with the punches that come from raising a special needs kid, many of the punches, not all of them, and the fact that it takes a lot to truly embarrass me. At least one of my kids may know how to push my buttons, but not really ever make me want to bury my head in shame from raising them to be the awesome individuals that they truly are. Part of that is because I understand that when my kids act up, it's usually not about me, it's about them. It's their issue. When one of them wants to be a jerk to their friends, it's not about me. I might tell them to be more kind, but that's all I can do. If one of them wants to do stupid, dangerous things, again, that's up to them. I tell them not to do dangerous things, but if they choose to do so, and it's bad, I'll mete out the consequences. And if one of them wants to make a spectacle of themselves by acting out or raising their voice during a synagogue service, I can shush them all I want, but in the end, it's their choice. I don't have to like it, I just have to find a way to deal with it. Or not. My children, however, live in a perpetual state of mortification because I'm their father, and my wife is their mother. It doesn't really matter, of course. Even if their favorite friend's parent were to somehow magically become their parent, they would be just as embarrassed by them. I get it. It comes with the territory. My wife and I have tried to limit our embarrassing behaviors when we are in the presence of their friends. And not just by not telling dad jokes or engaging said friends in conversation, but also by not looking in the direction, moving, breathing, or showing any outward signs of actual animation. Much to the frustration of our children, however, we have not been able to slow our heartbeats. That doesn't mean we're not still embarrassing. All we need to do is show up, get the name of their favorite singer wrong, misattribute gender. That Terry is such a nice young man. You mean he's not a he? What did I say that was so wrong? Or make an innocent observation about someone's hair color. Wow, I didn't know you could tie-dye hair. Or misuse slang, as in, I guess I pulled a hella boner there, didn't I? And it's as though you've embarrassed them for the rest of their natural-born days. This isn't always a bad thing, though. You can actually make it work for you. It helps to know that there are different types of embarrassment. There's the blackmail embarrassment, where you actually threaten to do or say something embarrassing, like yelling out the window during drop-off at middle or high school. You know, like, don't forget to wear your overnight retainer at the slumber party, or I love you, Snooky Wookums. This is especially effective when it isn't even your pet name for them, but one chosen for maximum impact. While it is tempting to resort to this level because what you're saying is usually true, it's still wrong. Hilarious, but wrong. Then there's threatening to resort to cringeworthy clothing. You know, like wearing inappropriate outfits to their games, meets, or meetings the same way they do when you drag them to your events. This takes many forms. It can be wearing garish clothing to a low-key event, work clothes to a football game, or inappropriately tight clothes if you happen to be a hot dad or mom. This might also be wrong, but only if it's intentional and out of character, especially if you own and wear another style of clothing that you actually use every day. This is an especially fun and useful approach, though, when you've gotten tired of your kids trying to ignore you. There's also publicly dressing them down or shaming them, which is also wrong, unless they started it. But honestly, who is the adult here, really? Not me. Put in that light, I don't think what I did was so wrong. I noticed that one of my kids was sitting in the stands on their computer while hanging out with their teammates at a big tournament, but completely ignoring his teammates. I know the kid knew what they were doing was questionable because as soon as they saw me enter the facility for what they thought was the first time, they quickly folded up their computer and hid it before they thought I noticed. What they didn't realize is that I had actually been there looking for them and a place to sit for 10 minutes and had just noticed them. Since there was no place to sit, I went back to the lobby of the gym until it was about 20 minutes before their event. When I returned, I noticed that they were on their computer again, and that there were empty seats next to them. So I went up to the bleachers, sat down next to them, and urged them to put the laptop away and hang out with the teammates that they actually do like. Most embarrassing of all, I had apparently sat in empty bleacher seats that had been occupied by said teammates. I discovered this when they returned, and they pretended not to be upset that I was occupying their space. Likewise, I pretended not to notice the same. In doing so, I capitalized on two key embarrassment pain points for any high school student. I not only engaged in the same apparent cluelessness that all adults seem to be so good at, I also committed the unpardonable sin of putting them in a situation where they would have to be seen with me in public. They begrudgingly put their device away, then faced with the choice of actually being seen sitting next to me, as I apparently obliviously sat in their teammates' seats, or moving, they got up, moved to where their teammates were, and gasp, actually started talking to them and hanging out with them. Mission accomplished. Yes, embarrassment can be a powerful tool for good or evil. It's up for us to decide how to use it. And I learned at the feet of a master. From a man who doesn't have ulcers, he gives them. I've been David Volk, the voice of the resistance, albeit a strange and funny one.